Today, you get to see part two of the interview with Ricardo. If you have missed the first one, I'm going to link it right here. Make sure you check it out so you see a little bit about his background, the many years he got to work at Microsoft, the amazing products he worked on and even created. You definitely don't want to miss it. Check it out and enjoy part two, where we're going to look a little bit more forward and where he's going to share some tips in how to land a job at Microsoft. Enjoy. Now at Microsoft, it's not just always all fun and great experiences. And we are actually big from a culture perspective about challenging our own personal views as well as, overcome obstacles and challenges at work. So if you think back in the past 12 months, what would you say was for you personally kind of like one of these challenges to overcome, which you see also as a growth moment for yourself?
Yeah, so looking at challenges that we face, it's interesting because we at the same time that we go and I just list all the great things that light up my eyes with events and everything. There's always challenges, no matter where you are. I think it's how you go and work around those challenges, right? So with that said, something I cannot think on anything like super big that could never be solved or something. But even in events, right? I like to show this balance because nothing nothing is perfect, right? So in the same subject, the subject of events, the fact that we move from a physical interactions to virtual, that and that pose the challenges of the unknown, right? And also because those experiences were originally designed to be physical experiences, how to translate that to a totally uh, uh, a virtual experience, it requires some thought. But the beauty of that is uh, we face the same reality that our customers, right? In that the example of the retail experience, guess what? All the retailers are reimagining, right? So then, how we basically work around this change from a physical experience to online experience was to put the customer ahead and see in a real world how they would do it, right? And then we end up pivoting a lot of the experiences around augmented reality, touchless experiences, and so far. So I think that was an example of you know some challenge, a challenge, or actually something that was unexpected. Uh, but I think the most important thing is what we do, facing such situations, and it's all about understanding the problem, looking at what your customers are trying to accomplish, and coming up with creative solutions.
First, I was laughing. I was almost sure thinking you're saying about the challenges publishing a mobile app in the Google Play Store and the Apple iOS Store. At least that was for me one of the funnier challenges we had to overcome in the past 12 months and to see the differences even from the process. Now, with
True, true. That's funny. It's funny you mentioned that. You see, but then the app actually there was a lot of fun as well,
yes.
learning things. So uh, maybe that made me forget the pain.
Okay. But we had some, yeah. But yeah, so now let's look forward. And while I know you can't share any, secrets as far as roadmap goes, but just for you, when you think now of the next 12 months between now and next summer, what excites you about this? What would you say you look forward to?
couple of things. Of course, professionally at Microsoft, specifically on Azure Stack Hub and Edge, uh, the main charter that the organization I lead is responsible for is developer tooling and end-to-end solutions, right? And what I expect to have happen in the next 12 months, we will continue to invest more on these pre-packaged solutions across different industries that basically allows developers to get started quickly. We showcase some of this during Ignite. For example, for manufacturing, we have something that's called the Factory AI, and that's a concept solution that implements the ability to create vision models to provide manufacturing customers the ability to detect defects. And with this end-to-end solution, we allow our customers to create those models without data science knowledge. And this is all available for free. It takes less than an hour for you to deploy. And today we have investments in manufacturing, healthcare, retail. So what you are going to see in the next 12 months is more verticals being supported by the solution. So you see solutions that target 4 other verticals like energy, government, and others. So, and the reason this excites me is because this particular chapter of solutions for me, it's I create these building blocks like Legos that our customers can use to get started, and seeing how fast those customers can get started with those building blocks really excites me, and that's one of my main area of investments. And again, it's all open source, it's all on GitHub, and that's investment that I'm pretty happy that I'll be able to continue to double down in the next months. On a personal note, I want to write more, right? Actually, the past few years, I've been writing my bicycle and my motorcycle more frequently. And, my goal for the next 12 months is to ride more than I rode in the last months. And you, David, is one of my riding buddies, so we'll have to make it happen.
You know me, I'm down for it. I look forward to it. I actually have fixed plans to ride all through the winter here in Pacific Northwest. Maybe a little bit more on the road, but that at least is the goal. So not to lose anything that we build up this year. Now I will link to the
There is always a snowboard in the winter, right?
That is true. That is true. There's other nice sports in winter as well. Yes. I will link to the intelligent solutions that you mentioned. I believe they are very valuable for a lot of customers. You mentioned it, like for in many ways, Azure as such, if you will, to me is like going into Legoland. You throw me a million Lego pieces and you say, go make something with it. That's kind of like how it feels for many customers, and you're kind of like overwhelmed with all the building blocks. And some people are maybe very good and create a replica of some monument in the world. I'm probably going to make these cheap square houses, like wall up and then a flat roof, and it's like, here we go. And actually having a team like yours that creates these starting packs, similar to if you give me the manual to build the Mustang and to ride Lego blocks, I can make a pretty cool Mustang with Legos. And that's to me a little bit like what you and your team does. It gets me started. I can then change and tune it from there, but it gives me kind of like these steps to really kickstart that journey of what I'm trying to overcome. Now, for people that are watching
No,
this and may think, oh my goodness, Ricardo's job sounds awesome. I want to become one day a principal PM, or maybe you're already senior and want to start as a principal PM. What would be 3 tips you would give to anybody that would like to be a PM at Microsoft?
you know, how and not only PM, right? I would say
Yes.
this applies to most of the positions in Microsoft. I think that first and foremost, you need to always look at how people actually use technology, right? So I think it's important to be connected with your customers, and your customers can be, if you, like me, work on Azure Stack Hub. It's my customers are, people bringing or needing cloud services on their data centers or places where the cloud is not available. But it could be, a developer if you end up providing, tools and platforms. It can be a business person using one of the productivity tools. But it's very important to understand how the technology is being used, and I think that not how only your piece works, like the piece that you own, or the code you write, but how the entire solution is used. Because if you don't have that view, and if you don't spend time uh, uh, looking at how your products actually used, it's hard to build something that is meant for that can be consumed by real people, right? So that's the first thing. Um, the second thing is you need to be. It doesn't matter how good you are. You can be the best, developer or the best program manager ever. You have to work with team. So I think that it's critical to be able to be a great player, right? You cannot make things by yourself. Actually, not at the scale that we build at Microsoft, right? And then when you look at teams, not the product, but teams, right? Work groups. Uh, it's not about the who is the best, but how the different components, the different people work together. Because you can have great developers, but that are doing backend, for example. But if you don't have a great UX, your users will never be satisfied. So, and there are other examples, right? So I think that it's critical to not only try to be your best, but bring the best on other people, right? Because that's actually how you move forward. So then, again, going back, the first one is knowing what your customers are doing and how the technology you're creating it's really used. Being a great team player, develop the best in people. At the end of the day, everything is by humans, should be consumed by humans, and it's important that we get humans working together. And the third thing is, really work on an industry, on an area that makes makes a difference for you, right? So, like in my case, I love that mission of bringing the cloud premises. So it's something that I firmly believe. So you won't be seen doing something else at this point. So I think that it's important that you do something that really resonates. Uh, and I think you asked me for three, but I'll give another one, David. Uh, it's just live a balanced life, right? A balanced life is completely subjective, right? There is, I don't believe that there is a recipe of what a balanced life is. But where I'm going is, uh, it's great to develop this career, and it's great to be the best, programmer or the best developer or the best, whatever is your title. but I think that it's important to have other interests in life, and because this way, it's even easier to reconcile real experience, right? So having a balanced life, having a hobby, or many hobbies, right? And spend time with your loved ones, and just try to be a complete person, because this may sound not directly related to what we're talking, which is career, but it is, and this balance to me is important, because it gives those insights, uh, uh, kind of out of the blue insight. So let me give you an example. One of the things that in Azure Stack, we bring the cloud to the edge, right? What is edge, right? And the edge may be a remote location in the middle of the sea or the desert, but the edge can be something where we are going riding our bikes, right? Um, it's funny enough, because it's part of my hobby of riding, right? This year I had the chance to do a week-long motorcycle ride where I rode on the back roads of our state, of Washington State. And man, I gotta tell you, I've been to a bunch of towns that are, one gas station type of towns, and guess what? That's the edge. You know, is still Washington State, is maybe an hour and a half away from any of the metropolis, but you have all those challenges of connectivity and all those things. But guess what? The only reason I've been to those places is because I was, doing something on my spare time, something else that is passion. So I think that balance brings you experiences that just complement what you bring to the workplace.
Thank you for those tips. So I put you a little bit on the spot, but if you have any questions for Ricardo, I'm just offering it here. Feel free to connect to him on LinkedIn. I will put his profile into the description of the section of YouTube. I also will make sure I link the GitHub repository where they have all the intelligent solution that him and his team are working on. Really check it out. It's pretty cool. It doesn't need much at all to get started. Try it out, test it, and leave comments if you would like to see other features or if you counter any issues. And again, thank you for watching. I hope it helped you and gave you some insights into the life of a principal PM at Microsoft and what excites him and what the challenges are they're facing. Thank you for watching and have a good day.
Thank you.